They try to genocide us on October 7th. They try to kill every single person possible. I know you're going to bring up like the Hannibal or whatnot.
Yeah, that's very important.
It's something that was maybe happened in the past, but it's not something that actually happened in that situation.
Are you aware that Defense Minister Yoav Gallant admitted on Israeli television that the Hannibal directive was in fact activated on that day? And to take it a step further, he says it should have been activated in other areas as well.
But they do have hostages in Gaza. They do have them underground, and we're trying to get them back.
Let's talk about the hostages. Are you aware of the fact that on October 10th, Hamas put a deal forward and said, we will give you back all the hostages if you do not invade Gaza? And Benjamin Netanyahu refused. Are you aware of that? Again, let me be clear about this. If Israel negotiated a permanent ceasefire, they would get all the hostages back. But they don't want to do that because they want to continue their bombing campaign and get them out of Gaza. That's what they really care about.
And your perspective is that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza, correct?
Yes. That is according to all the experts, genocide researchers, to include Israelis, Jews that study the Holocaust. It's pretty much with every prominent researcher.
How do you define genocide?
Well, it is the killing, systematic killing of a group of people, okay? And there's also ethnic cleansing going on right now as we speak, because we know that they're trying to move these people out of Gaza to other Arab countries so they could take over the Strip. Donald Trump already dropped the ball on that one. So the reality is...
You said Israel also, like there's Israel news that says that they're committing a genocide, correct?
I'm sorry?
You said that there's Israel news also that says that Israel is committing a genocide?
Israeli news?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there's Israeli researchers. Yes, Israeli researchers, Jewish researchers, all the genocide experts universally are condemning what's going on in Gaza as a genocide. There's a reason why, as we speak, Benjamin Netanyahu has an arrest warrant from the ICC.
Okay, but you could also look at it as in that the Hamas leaders also has a ICC
They do.
arrest warrant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
so
they do.
You realize that we're fighting a terrorist organization according to the Israeli news, right? What we're trying to do is stop Hamas.
I understand.
According to Israel, right? So when Israel is talking to their citizens and their people, they're like, okay, we have to do all this stuff to kill Hamas so this doesn't happen again, correct?
Yeah, I see your position. You're saying they're a terrorist organization.
What, Israel? No.
No. You're saying Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Of course.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They genocided. They tried to genocide us on October 7th. They try to kill every single person possible. I know you're going to bring up like the Hannibal or whatnot.
Yeah, that's very
which
important.
Is not really that like, it's not really, it's something that was maybe happened in the past, but it's not something that actually happened in that situation. I agree with you that I think that.
Hold on, let me stop you real quick.
Sure.
Are you aware that the defense minister, Yoav Gallant, admitted on Israeli television that the Hannibal directive was in fact activated on that day? And to take it a step further, he says it should have been activated in other areas as well. And we know 200 Israelis were killed by the IDF, confirmed.
I think that the Hannibal directive is just something that the country uses as
Sure.
to like.
I don't have a problem. Like, I'm not saying it's bad that they're doing it.
They're not. The Hannibal directive is not designed to kill Israelis and to like get the kill count higher.
Yeah, but look,
It's done for whatever reason, and
I'll tell you why it's done.
I cannot speak
I'll tell
on the
you why
details.
it's done.
Hold on.
I
can't speak on the details on like why it was said by
Well, that's
whatever
important.
minister. I can't speak on that.
The details are very important.
Of course they are. But I could say that Israel's goal was not to kill their own people. You have to agree with that. That's not their goal. They don't want to increase the head count of Israeli civilians.
Yeah, well, here's the
That's
thing.
not the
He's
goal.
actually correct. So let me explain. You're actually correct when you said that
So I
Israel's
find that
goal
that's,
is not to
like,
kill
misleading
their own
when you
people.
say
But
that.
hold on. This is why we need to go into the details and context. You're correct. The Israeli government obviously isn't trying to kill their own people. However, if they're being kidnapped by a Palestinian militia group, where they're going to be put in a very bad diplomatic position where they have to negotiate for hostages.
Which they're in right now, yeah?
Which they're in right now. They would rather just shoot at the car and kill everyone inside versus having to turn over 100 Palestinians for one Israeli, because that's what happened. So the Hannibal directive was activated on that day. And again, let me finish. It actually makes sense. It's very pragmatic. It's ruthless, but it is pragmatic. But if we're going to go and have a real conversation here, we need to understand that on October 7th, IDF soldiers killed innocent Israelis to avoid having to negotiate for them later.
It didn't work. It didn't work.
It actually did work.
We still have hostages in Gaza. What are you
They
talking
didn't kill them all.
I'm sorry?
I said the IDF did not kill them all.
Putting that aside, they activated the Hannibal directive. It didn't work. There was 200 plus hostages. There's like 50 plus now. And the bodies, and that's very important, obviously, for Muslim cultures and Jewish cultures, for the bodies to come back, whatever. But the point is that I feel like it's misguiding the kind of the conversation, because the fact is that
not many people know this.
They still do have hostages in there. So like, if they didn't have any hostages and we killed all the hostages and the Hannibal directive was activated and there's no hostages in Israel and Gaza, then I would potentially agree with you that they shouldn't bomb them indiscriminately and it's genocide, blah, blah, blah. But the point is that they do
They
have
should bomb them
hostages.
indiscriminately?
No, they shouldn't. I would agree with you.
Okay.
But they do have hostages in Gaza. They do have them underground, and we're trying to get them back. And if we had all of them back, or if the Hannibal directive was activated properly and they were all killed, then I would agree with you that potentially it was a genocide.
Okay.
Do you not hear where I'm coming from? Should I repeat myself?
You're kind of talking past what I'm trying to explain to you. Experts that study this, scholars,
It doesn't matter.
have already
There's
deemed this
still
a genocide.
hostages.
This
There's still
isn't
hostages in
debatable
Gaza.
anymore. It's not debatable anymore. It is a genocide. According to definition,
According
it's a
to
genocide.
whatever, yeah.
Number two, the Hannibal directive was activated that day. They killed innocent Israelis. Fine, I understand why. Number three,
But they still have hostages, and you're not
systematically-
talking about
Well,
that.
here, okay, let's talk about the hostages. Are you aware of the fact that on October 10th, Hamas put a deal forward and said, we will give you back all the hostages if you do not invade Gaza? And Benjamin Netanyahu refused. Are you aware of that?
It wasn't that clear cut. There was more There was more details in that deal. It wasn't just if you don't invade Gaza.
Can
It's
I give
not
you the red
true.
pill? I'm going to give you the red pill. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't give a fuck about the hostages.
I
And
agree
everybody
with
knows
you.
this.
I agree with you.
This is why.
I agree with you.
Okay, cool. What he's using the hostages for is so that he can wage a war on all of his enemies. He's used it to justify invading Lebanon, destabilizing Syria, bomb the Houthis, and finally attack Iran. He's been waiting for this for 30 years. If you understand Middle Eastern
what
foreign
happened-
policy,
what
let me
happened
finish. Let me
October-
finish.
What happened October 8th from Hezbollah, from Lebanon?
They shot rockets into
Exactly.
Israel.
Into Israel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they've
and what
always
happened
been
with
doing
the Houthis? What have the Houthis been? What have they been doing last week? Or
They've been
maybe, like,
attacking
yesterday?
ships. They've been attacking ships
And Israel.
to
Israel.
bankrupt
They were
Israel.
shooting missiles at Israel.
Yes.
Okay,
Again,
So you don't think that Israel, as its own like sovereignty, has the right to defend themselves against Hezbollah and against the Houthis in general?
sure, that's fine.
Okay, so
but,
why-
but you're,
why
you're
is that a
missing.
talking point?
No. You're missing the point I'm making here. I'm saying that the hostages are being used as pawns
By Hamas.
by Netanyahu.
Hamas. They're
by
not
Hamas
that.
and Netanyahu. They're both of them, because Hamas is using it as leverage to get political power, and then Netanyahu is using it to justify his greater war across the region. Just so you know, I'm not sure if you know this, but for the people here, Netanyahu is currently going through a corruption trial, okay, for bribery. He's looking at maybe almost 10 years in jail. So
I'm not justifying
October
Bibi
7th,
Netanyahu's,
but I'm
like,
explaining why.
behavior.
I'm explaining why he doesn't care about the hostages. The faster he gets the hostages, the faster he has to end the war. The faster he ends the war, the faster he has to deal with the criminal court system in Israel.
Two things can
so
be
he
true at the
has
same
every
time.
single he has every
I
single
agree.
incentive
I agree with you.
to continue the
I
conflict.
fully agree with you, but two things could be true at the same time. He could be avoiding jail time, and he could be like trying to kill Hamas and ending Hamas at the same time. Do you agree with that? Two things could be true at the same time.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He is not, let me be crystal clear. He is not prioritizing the hostages to the degree that he's purporting to everyone else. And we know this because he could have gotten the hostages back on
But you're
October
not in
10th.
the negotiations. You don't know. You just know what happened on October 10th or whatever.
Oh, no.
Like you don't exactly know how the negotiations are very difficult, very tough.
I understand that negotiations are difficult, but we have to be honest here, okay?
We have to be honest that if we had all the hostages back and we were still bombing Gaza, I would stand with you on this table and I would argue for the liberation of Gaza and Palestine.
do you know what-
100%. But the fact that there are still hostages in Gaza underground is the biggest thing that like 99%
Okay,
of
let me
Jewish people in
break this down
America
for you, okay? Let me break this down for you because I actually pay attention to all the deals. Hamas is willing to give all the hostages back. However, they need a permanent ceasefire. The Israelis
But who
refuse.
breaks the permanent ceasefires are just words.
Okay.
For you and for like other Americans.
and
other
they
people.
know that. And they know that. That's
It's
why.
not real.
That's why.
They don't
that is
value
why.
ceasefires.
Again, bro, I'm not here to debate
But
what
what
they're,
happened
what
when
it
after
is.
the first round?
I'm telling you. Yeah. The first round,
What happened after the first round?
Israel dropped the deal.
What happened? Israel dropped the deal?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
They shot rockets at us after they released the first batch. They were supposed to release 10 people per day, and instead of releasing 10 people per day, they just attacked us. It's fine. It's fine. You have your news, I have my news. But I know what Israel actually wants and what the people want. Not what Bibi Netanyahu wants, what the actual
That's who's
people
running
want.
your country, though. The problem is
One
that
of
he's
the
not
people.
doing what the people want. That's why they're literally
agree with you to a
they're
certain
protesting
extent.
every day in Tel Aviv. That proves my
I
point.
agree with you
They
to a
don't care
certain
about the
extent.
hostages, bro. Again, let me be clear about this. if Israel negotiated a permanent ceasefire, they would get all the hostages back. But they don't want to do that because they want to continue their bombing campaign and get them out of Gaza. That's what they really care about. It's about ethnic cleansing.
No
If you don't see
Israeli
that,
would agree with you.
then I don't. It doesn't matter what the
real
Israelis would
Israeli.
agree with.
Of course
the
it
truth
is.
is the truth.
It's the people.
So then if they don't agree with me, why are they protesting all across Tel Aviv saying bring the hostages back?
Because we want the hostages back.
So, okay, who has the
Make
power
a
to get
deal.
them back?
Make a deal.
Who has the power to make the deal?
Hamas can't make the deal.
No.
We're negotiating with terrorists. There's a
Israel-
reason why. There's a
Israel
reason
doesn't
why
wanna make the deal.
saying is don't negotiate with terrorists. This is like literally where it comes from.
Israel
literally
doesn't
where
want to
you
make the
cannot-
deal.
You cannot
Israel doesn't
negotiate.
want a permanent ceasefire. That's what's holding this up. It's very simple,
Israel
man.
does one, and I would argue that maybe Bibi doesn't.
He's the
but-
one running the country.
But he's
That's
not
what matters.
the only. There's a lot of people that run the country. He's one of the people that run the country. Israel, the people, they want a ceasefire. They want the hostages back. And period. I hear where you're coming from. I respect your perspective, but I
Bro,
just
you don't even
disagree.
understand how your government works.
Of course, I understand. how the
Benjamin
government works.
Netanyahu is the last say-so. He's consolidated power
Of
to
course.
himself within the Knesset. So,
Of course.
like,
But
what he
he-
says goes. So you
He
literally
never
just
got a
defeated
deal.
your own
He did-
argument.
He did not get a deal to bring the
You're
rest of
saying the
hostages.
Israelis want the hostages back.
We want the
I
hostages
agree. But you're saying, well, Bibi might not. That matters that he might not care about getting them back right now. That
Do you
matters.
think Hamas cares to bring us back the hostages?
I'll tell you this. They have more fire on their ass to give them back than Netanyahu does. And that's a fact.
They have a what?
They have
More fire?
more fire under their ass.
Well,
they
it's
have
not
more
working.
pressure. They have more pressure under their
They've
ass
had pressure
to
for the
make a
last
permanent
18 months.
ceasefire.
They've had the same amount of pressure the last 18 months. What are you talking about? Why didn't they just bring back the hostages?
All right, let me ask you this. Let's just
Serious
let's just
question.
use common sense. Who has more leverage in this negotiation? Netanyahu or Hamas?
Hamas.
No.
I think Hamas does.
Netanyahu has more
Personally.
leverage. Netanyahu has more
Well,
leverage.
Israel, remember, Israel is a democratic country. I know you're probably not going to agree with me. And the people are uprising, like you see every fucking day on the news. They want the hostages back. And at the end of the day, the prime minister has to feed what the people want.
Okay, and who is holding up the hostages coming back then? Netanyahu or Hamas?
Hamas.
That's not true.
So it's a philosophical
true.
difference. I don't agree with you.
It's not.
I think a terrorist organization, you don't negotiate with terrorists for a reason. This is it.
Okay, then you just defeated your own argument.
Sorry, go ahead.
That
Why?
if you're saying don't negotiate with terrorists,
We're
then-
trying.
then-
We've been trying.
which one is it?
We've been trying to negotiate with them, but it's not working. This is why we shouldn't negotiate with
Again.
terrorists, and we should go and do all
Bro,
these
bro,
Mossad.
look, man. Look, I'm going to be crystal clear about this. Hamas wants a permanent ceasefire. Israel doesn't. That's what's holding up the deal.
I do not agree with you. They do not want to.
You don't have to agree. That's the truth.
It's
I've been
not the
studying.
truth.
I've been watching this every day, keeping in
You
touch with it.
haven't. You
There was
haven't
a
been-
three-part
you
deal.
don't know the
Dude,
real
you didn't
deal.
even.
Just
You
reading
didn't even know how many
website,
people were
like
killed
some
with the Hannibal
article
directive,
that you
bro.
found
You're
online.
talking out your ass, man. You are
I'm
literally
not.
talking
I
out your
live
ass.
it. I exist it. I'm serious. You
Yeah, bro. How you feel versus what's real are two different things, bro. Like,
sorry? One more time.
like how you feel versus what's real are two different things.
But I'm on the ground.
The Israeli
I spend time
government,
there.
led by Benjamin Netanyahu, does not want a permanent ceasefire. Since they're not going to ensure a permanent ceasefire, Hamas doesn't want to give back the hostages. It's simple, dude.
wrong.
It's very simple.
It's wrong.
They could have got the hostages back on October 10th, and they didn't
Nope,
do it.
That's wrong. That's what they want you to think, and that's what
The Israel
that you
Times
were
reported
doing.
this. Israeli media reported this.
Fine, because they're allowed to have other people that are commenting on live. Israel has both sides. It's like you don't see Hamas news media that's both sides. You see Israel has both sides. It's a democracy. We speak on both sides. Some Israelis news outlets, yes, sure, they push one agenda, and then there's the right that pushes the other agenda. What does that make a difference? I
You
don't
want to know
understand.
why it's credible?
Why is it credible?
There's a guy that was representing all the families that got hostages taken.
Okay.
He went directly to the Knesset and the Israeli government and said, look, I'm here to advocate for them to come back. And he heard, while he was there talking with them, trying to find a way, this is early on, that they had a deal on the table to get them back on or about October 10th. In exchange for not invading Gaza and bombing them, they would give the hostages back. Netanyahu refused. Okay? That's a fact. That comes from the Israel Times. Look it up.
Why do you think he refused?
That's irrelevant.
I'm
Like,
serious.
that-
Do you think it was just like, hey, here's a bus of
Bro,
all your
you're
hostages,
moving the
take them back?
goalpost. You're moving the goalpost. My argument
Or
is
does
simply
he want
that
2,000
Netanyahu,
2,000 Palestinian prisoners per hostage? Like what? Like it has to be reasonable.
bro, they were going to give them
Seriously.
back without hostage exchange. I just told you for not invading.
I don't. That never happened in the history of the fucking region where hostages from Israel was given back for nothing. That's not true.
Yeah,
It's
to not have
simply
Gaza
true.
toppled, I think
Has
they would
that
make
ever
that
happened?
deal.
Have we ever brought hostages?
To not get toppled, they would make that happen.
No, clearly not. And that's exactly what's happening now.
All right.
I'm done.
All right, man. That's fine. Bro, you got to do a little bit more research, man, with your own media.